Hello and welcome to CAD for Horticulture. Today we're going to work on some more drawings, trying to use some of the things that we've learned to build upon that. I'm going to start off with doing the rectangle command. There's an icon up here in the draw menu, that is the rectangle. I highly encourage you to use the keyboard commands, which would be REC. Before I leave that, there is a polygon hiding underneath that rectangle, just so you know where that is. So we can type in REC into the keyboard, hit enter. We're going to pick 2 points on the screen. Make a nice rectangle there. And if you remember, we have been working on ortho and OSNAP, some of our drawing aids. I'm going to quickly right click on OSNAP and I'm going to click on settings just so we can review what I have turned on, which is endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, and nearest. We'll OK out of that. With OSNAPs on, we can start finding key points within this drawing. So here is just the rectangle. Notice O-snaps are on, but when I go up and hit these lines, nothing's happening. I need to be within a command. So I'm going to start my polyline command. I'm going to go up and I'm going to find the midpoint. Then I'm going to pick the midpoint on the bottom. Then I'm going to hit escape because I want to be out of that command so I don't draw any more lines. Then I'm going to press enter again. And this will let me pick the midpoint on this side to the midpoint on this side, and then I'm going to hit escape. I want to draw a circle in the middle of this. So we go up here and we can grab the circle, or we can just type C for circle, and we're going to pick the intersection, or actually it's going to say the midpoint, which is also the intersection of these lines. And watch this. I can go up here and it'll just snap to those lines and find the endpoint of where I drew that. So now we have a circle within a rectangle. I want a square though, a perfect square. So by definition, a circle will give you a square. I can go from that intersection down, hit escape, enter again to get the last command. I'm going to go from here and then go up to the top. Sometimes it's a good idea to go up past where the line is. That way you're not grabbing an O-snap that you're not expecting. So once I have that, it allows us to use some more commands. So the next command I want to work on is hiding underneath the trim command, which is the extend command. So the trim command uses a cutting edge. The extend command uses a boundary. So I want to extend this line up through this space here. So this is my boundary, which is the rectangle. I'm going to say enter, and I'm going to click here. Now notice that this line, there's a midpoint that we're not seeing right now. Let me in fact hit escape, click on this line, and with these grips, you can see here is a midpoint. That is the midpoint grip. So when I use the extend, I have to pick on the right half of the line. So I have to extend, click on the half that is extending in the direction I want it to travel. So hopefully I've explained that all right. We'll hit extend, we'll hit the boundary. Remember, read your command line. We're done selecting boundaries. So I'm going to click here. If I click past that midpoint, notice nothing will happen. But if I pick on the correct side of that midpoint, it will extend. So I'm going to just use the keyboard command extend EX. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And so now I have this. So if you look, I have this line here, comes down here. Because it's all within touching this circle, we know that this is a true square equal on all sides. So now I can work on my trim command. So I'm going to type in trim, or you can also pick it. Remember, it's underneath the extend or the trim. I'm going to start picking some lines to use as cutting edges. Remember, these are my cutting edges. So everything that's dashed right now is now a knife blade. And I can only trim off parts that are bisecting that knife blade. And you can cut the knife edges themselves, like this one right here. This, I'll just slowly work my way around. There we go. So this has got my box. Now I want to go back and I'm going to trim out this piece and this piece. But notice I can't trim out the insides. That's because there are no knife blades bisecting these lines. So in this case, I'm going to have to use the erase command and erase here and here. So now I have a circle within a square. The next thing I want to do is create a pointer. So I'm going to start my polyline command again. A neat trick to find the center of a circle when your O-snaps are on, you do a polyline. As soon as you cross the circle that you're looking for the center point, this little X will appear, and then you can grab the center point. So you always have to cross or touch that circle. As soon as you get even near that circle, if you can get the center to come up, it will work. I'm going to select the center. See, we have the center right there. I'm going to go just a small distance to the right, and then I'm going to go back up here and get the midpoint of that line, and then enter. I'm going to kind of go quickly now, and I'm going to use the mirror command, which is right here. I'm so used to keyboard shortcuts, I'm not used to the icons. I'm going to grab this item right here, this little pointer, and notice how it's a polyline. It's all selecting at once. Enter. I've selected my objects. I'm going to enter again. I'm going to pick these 2 points, the center point and that end point again. And there I have a little pointer. Now the real meat of this exercise is learning how to rotate. Rotate is right up here as the icon. I always type RO for rotate. I'm going to select both of these objects and enter. So this is a really powerful way to do it. And if you read, it's asking you to specify a base point. I'm going to pick the end point, which is also the center point of the circle. And it asked me to specify a reference angle. So if I knew I wanted to go 45, I could type in 45, or I could just type in an angle down here. I want to be a little bit better. I want to use this R for reference, just like we did in the last exercise with the box. So R for reference, and now this is very redundant. We're going to have to pick this point again. And now I have ortho on. I've got to pick this point up on the top. And now this pointer will follow me wherever I go. And if you turn off your ortho, it will freely roll around the screen. So now I'll just click it to one of these corners here. And there you go. That's rotate using reference.